Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. This is a brand new What If. What if Deku was trained by Might Guy, or trained by Might Guy, excuse me. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you do, please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. First off, I want to say this. Long time ago, I think probably closer to 3 years ago, I did a video called What If Deku Had the 8 Gates. I am redoing it, or doing it in a different way to a large extent. And we're approaching it in, I don't know, similar but also different ways. And just, it's going to be a fun blast from the past, doing it all over again, talking about it all over again. But this time around, it's just going to be called What If Deku Was Trained by My Guy. And I hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, as always, show some love to the video, and also check the links in the description for other things that you could possibly check out, like my Discord, like my Spotify, that I really try to keep up with and try to stay up to date with, but I do have some troubles trying to keep that thing up to date, but I will try my best. So please check them all out, and I don't want to waste much more of your time, and I want to get right into the what if. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya is born, and he is born into a world riddled with quirks or superpowers. At least that's what we would know them as. And frankly, it's an interesting thing, because at 4 years old, a young Izuku Midoriya is in the car with his mother, and they're driving to a doctor's office, or driving to a hospital, and she's talking to him. What kind of quirk would you want, Izuku? What kind of quirk? What would you want to do? What kind of hero would you want to be? And he tells her, I want to be the #1 hero. I want to be like All Might. And he believes that a quirk, a strong one, will do exactly that. And a strong one will put him on a chance and a collision course with being just like All Might. That's until they arrive at the doctor's office. And let's just say they learn of stuff that Izuku would never want to hear in his wildest dreams, because he hears that he is quirkless. Izuku Midoriya is quirkless, and he's unable to gain the strength that he wants. And he tells the kid that he can still be a great member of society, that he could be amazing. He can do amazing things. He can be a fantastic doctor, surgeon, maybe even a great lawyer, anything. That's what he can do, but Hero's not one of them. The doctor would tell him and tell the kid he's sorry. He's genuinely sorry, and he's sorry to his mother. He's sorry that it happened this way. He's sorry that the kid had to learn in such a abrupt way, that this is the reality they live in. Without a quirk, without something to truly keep him grounded, without something to allow him to expand his arsenal of strength and power and so on, he won't be able to be a hero. He won't be able to be the person he wants to be. He won't be able to truly become the hero he seeks out to be, in which this would sadden Izuku. But in this reality, Izuku Midoriya, he doesn't back down from this. He thinks to himself that he could still be that hero. He needs to get stronger, get better. He needs to work harder. He needs to do something. He starts initially at a young age, 5, 6 years old, doing push-ups, sit-ups, anything he could possibly do. But even his mother knows that this is far from enough. This is going to be far from enough. And he's going to have to do so much more. And he might not even get there. He might not even get to the place, the point, or anything that allows him to truly become what he wants to become. And that's the sad reality of it. So what she decides to do, what she decides, is to find out something, figure out something. And what does she do? Well, she decides to look up every single martial arts place in existence. Anywhere they can possibly go. She marks them all and decides, you know what? If my son wants to be something greater, something better, if my son wants to be the greatest hero alive, well, I'm not going to devoid him of that. I'm going to give him a chance. And that's what she does. She gives him a chance. Going to these martial arts classes, and they actually head in there, and Izuku's eyes widen. He's excited. He can see people basically firing off punches, blocking, and doing all these techniques that seem basic, but at the same time, you need every bit of fundamental, you could even say, right? You need every bit of it. And he watches them, and he thinks, this could be me. This could be it. This is where my life truly takes off, until the sensei says something to his mother, shaking his head and asking her to leave. Inko would walk over and tell him, I'm sorry, the class is full. The class is unable to take on any new students. Izuku's like, oh, okay, well, what about the next class? Let's go check out somewhere else. In which Inko thinks in her head that the class wasn't full. It wasn't fully occupied, and that there's some other reason there, and that every other place that they go, she can almost guarantee that they're going to have the same reasoning. And that reasoning is that he's quirkless. Izuku would head to another dojo. They would be turned down. Too high of occupancy. Another dojo. Turned down. Too young. Another dojo. Turned down. Over and over and over and over again. And one dojo they run into, a more brutish, more straightforward, more kind of headstrong dojo, the sensei would say out loud to his mother, the kid is quirkless. Get him in schooling. Get him to do anything else. He's going to be a positive member of society, or if he wants to be, it will not be through a hero. He will never be a hero. In which this would shoot Izuku like a bullet straight through the chest. Hearing this, Izuku would begin to slightly cry, but at the same time, he would try to calm himself, not allowing himself to basically take on this sadness. He doesn't want to fall into that. He's still young, but he understands that some people, other people, they're not going to be nice. They're not going to be go-lucky. They're not going to be happy. They're not going to think the world of you, and they're not going to think that you can do anything. But as they leave, as they're walking out, there's one man that's sitting there and was about to leave himself. And he says that the kid, he should never give up, never let down, never relent. He should give it 1000%. He should give it every last bit of fiber of his being. And if it's in this dojo or the next, he should give it his all. In which his mother would turn and ask the guy, who is he? I mean, seriously. The guy would turn and he would be rolling over in a wheelchair, in which he would say that his name is Might Guy, and it's a pleasure to meet them. And that the kid, he needs to keep a smile on his face no matter what, because he says he wants to be like All Might. All Might does exactly that. In which Izuku is kind of taken back by this and wonders, who is this guy? What is he doing here? And frankly, like, what happened to him? In which Inko Midoriya would actually set them aside and they would stroll out, and he would begin talking. He would say that he got injured a long time ago and he was put in this wheelchair, and he's been looking for work, looking for something to do, hopefully being a ko-sensei of some sorts. In which immediately she's like, well, what do you mean ko-sensei? Or why not a sensei? Or why does he keep looking through dojo after dojo? In which he says that no sensei, no dojo, no place will allow someone who is in a wheelchair to teach. In which Izuku hears this and says that no dojo will accept him because he's quirkless. In which Might Guy would look at him and smile and say that having no quirk does not make you weak. Having no quirk just means you have to work harder. And if you work harder than every single person, then you will be stronger than every single person. In which immediately Izuku thinks that he should be his teacher. Might Guy, he wants to be the student of Might Guy. He wants Might Guy to be his sensei. In which immediately Might Guy looks at Inko Midoriya, and Inko shakes her head just a little bit, but then decides, you know what? You're right. Let's give him a shot. Let's give him a chance. In which Might Guy says that it'll be hard work, extremely hard work. His last pupil went through hell and back to truly become the person he wants or is and becomes. And he wants him to understand that being strong, being powerful is not the only destination. That there's so much more to it, but all of that starts with hard work. Every single little bit of it starts with hard work. Every inch, every foot, every yard, every mile, hard work. In which Izuku says he hears him, and which my guy says with the power of youth, he can do truly anything. Izuku would start the next day at a beach, Dagobah Beach, at the age of 6 years old, training with my guy. It started simple. Runs down the beach, up the beach, swimming from point A to point B. It was simple, but strategy was all involved in my guy's plan. He wanted to make him a great martial artist, but there was so much more to it than just making him a great martial artist. He could tell the kid had an unending spirit, an undying will. He was willing to sacrifice it all to become the greatest hero. And the kid showed it day in and day out, training every single day for years. Izuku training with my guy, becoming a master borderline of martial arts, studying day in and day out of any techniques he could be learning, everything. But guess what? Even my guy understands that it's not enough. Just being a martial artist, just being someone who can fight, who can scrap, who can protect themselves from a normal person does not make you powerful. And he knows that. Izuku would train all the way up until about 14 or 15 years old, to the point where everything was like second nature. His fighting style was amazing. His strength was amazing as well. His stamina, his body was built to its absolute peak, but it still wasn't enough. My guy would tell him that in all reality, that will set in on him, and the idea of being a hero is still out of reach. In which he asks, why? After years of training, what do you mean it's out of reach? How have I not done enough? My guy tells him, though, that quirks are gifted. This is earned. And there's something that he once used long time ago that allowed him to crank his strength up to the maximum, to make him strong where others felt like his lack of quirk truly meant nothing. That it felt as if he had a quirk. It felt that them having their own quirks was a disadvantage. That is what Izuku can gain. But he tells Izuku that training in it is scary. It might be tempting to push yourself further than you could possibly imagine, but one wrong step could be fatal. He tells Izuku all the training they went through was preparation for this time, for him to step into the realm of something known as the 8 Gates. My guy explains, here, the 8 Gates gives you power unimaginable, but as you progress, the 8 Gates will take a toll on your body, take a toll on something that is within. He tells him that it's going to be very complicated, but he has all the tools to understand it, and he has 1 year to realize it. Yes, 1 year to realize everything. 10 months from the entrance exam, but also a couple months before that actual 10-month period. He tells him, this is how the gates go. Gate 1, gate of opening. Gate 2, gate of healing. Gate 3, the gate of life. Gate 4, the gate of pain. Gate 5, the gate of limit. Gate 6, the gate of view. Gate 7, the gate of wonder. In which he stops. He stops talking, and immediately Izuku asks, you said there was 8 gates. Why'd you only tell me 7? In which my guy would stop and say that there is an 8th, but we are to never touch the 8th gate. Ever. Because the 8th gate is the gate of death. He tells Izuku that he can tell by his personality, he can tell by the person he is, that to save one person, that he would step into the realm of the 8th gate. He would, without hesitation. And he can't lie to him. Maybe he would have too, if he could still utilize that strength. But he needs to understand that all the strength that comes from him now until then is he should not sacrifice his own life for the betterment of just one person. That sacrificing yourself like that would just be proof of the hard work that you didn't go through. Proof that you didn't work hard enough, that you had to push yourself to that limit, to the point where you couldn't save somebody without sacrificing your own life. He tells him that he is too proud of the kid, too proud of the person that stands in front of him to watch him die just to save one. Because he should stand tall, stand forever, stand as long as the body has will, because he can save so many more. He could save millions. Izuku would be shocked to hear this, thinking that this power must be something truly great, something truly amazing. And so the Izuku's actual training, even more training, would begin. Training with the gates, and also training with weighted clothing massively, helping him just gain immense power and strength. Izuku would begin to learn how to open the gates. It all starts with the first gate, the gate of opening, which he begins to utilize it, and it begins to remove the user's mental inhibitions. Opening this gate basically allows the user to perform the front lotus, a technique that can be used to tie up their opponent and slam them directly on the ground. Now, the second gate in which he is now stepping into is the gate of healing, which it increases the user's physical strength, and it even has the added effect of re-energizing the body, enabling it to rapidly recover from exhaustion. Those two right there are two that he is basically going to be able to utilize for now. Over the course of this training, this large amount of training, he will be able to learn so much more. In those 2 months before the 10-month period, Izuku learns those first two gates, learns them and gets them down. And he understands that there are limitations to them all. He can feel the warmth of his body, but he can feel the sharp pain that threads through it at the same time. He knows the toll that it's taking on his body, and he knows the toll that it will eventually take on him in the very end of it all. But Izuku, well, he goes to school one day, and all he can think about is how to open that third gate, the gate of life. How do I open it? And he begins to think. And eventually, he would be called out by the teacher over and over and over again. Izuku, Mr. Midoriya. And then Izuku would wake up. He would look and he would ask what's going on, in which he would say he's heard rumors that he's trying to get into UA. It's truly an interesting feat for someone who is quirkless. Bakugo gets enraged by hearing this, saying that he's a joke. He's a joke of a person. He's a Deku. He's useless. He should never try to get in UA, because that is his job. He's going to be the first one to get into UA from this rundown, rugged school that is disgusting. He would then throw a punch at Izuku, but Izuku would just catch it, parrying it away and allowing basically Bakugo to just walk away scotch-free. In which a lot of people question this. If Izuku's able to do that, then why doesn't he just finish Bakugo off? Not kill him, not end his life or anything, but legitimately just put him down one time. Nice one clean punch, boom. But they question it, and they kind of come to the decision like maybe he's just scared of him. Maybe he's just terrified of Bakugo. In which it's probably delusion for them saying that, but that is the kind of stigma of that is built around everything that's going on. And Izuku is just locked in. He doesn't care about all this. He doesn't mind all this. He doesn't care about anything else that is on the outside. All he wants to think of, all he can think of, is being ready for the UA entrance exam. And after the teacher talks and all that, BS goes on, he would eventually leave, even before Bakugo could even try to bully him and do stupid stuff. He begins writing in his journal, thinking and finding different ways and creative ways to open this gate, thinking that every single gate has a kind of position. The gate of opening is the brain's left hemisphere, and the gate of healing is located in the brain's right hemisphere. Everything has kind of its own distinction. He wonders, the gate of life, truly the gate of life, where would it be located? He begins to think to himself, where would the gate of life be located? In which he eventually circles a couple places that he feels could harbor the gate of life, and he thinks, what took the normal life, the life that my guy once cherished away? And he thinks to himself, his ability to walk. Severing the spinal cord, well, it would force paralysis. Unable to walk, unable to move, unable, to live. In which, to him, that would be life over. Him not being able to move, not being able to walk, it'll be life over. He knows that it's not, but maybe that's where he has to put his mind. Where would he feel like he couldn't be the person he wants to be? And that is within the spinal cord, circling it heavily, thinking the gate of life must be located there. He doesn't know what it does, how it should be approached, and maybe this is how he'll unlock the gate of pain as well, but this is something to think about, something to really think about. He's so deep in thoughts, he doesn't even hear the thing that is creeping behind him. That is the sludge villain. The sludge villain currently creeping and also about to grab onto Izuku, but in a one foul swoop, the sludge villain goes to grab him and he misses. Izuku dodging out of the way, and he asks, what the heck is this creature? What the heck are you? In which the sludge villain says, I need your body, and becomes chasing after Izuku. Izuku would leave, bouncing off the walls, jumping out of the underground tunnel below the bridge, and Izuku would dodge his way out of there. And when, the sludge villain would attack him, he would begin opening the gates. Opening the gate of opening, then the gate of healing. But he would think, this is his time, this is his chance. The gate of life open, turning his skin, or kind of the skin that he has on, and like his actual skin, of course, red. When he opens it, he feels something kind of changing. His pupils disappear, his hair standing on end, and his veins begin to bulge. Opening the gate, it has given him something. It has given him power that he's never felt before. He dodges one time and then again slides away from the sludge villain. And in one kick, boom, he would send the sludge villain toward the wall, exploding it into pieces. As he does this, it would lay down there and crumbled into different little segments, and Izuku stands there. He did it. He freaking did it. He can't believe he did, and then he collapses. Izuku realizing that he really was not ready to open that gate, and yes, it wasn't necessarily painful to a large degree, it definitely took a lot out of him. He begins to pant as he sits back up, and as he does, he sees the sludge villain trying to crawl away in its little tiny little bits. But as he does, he sees someone else approaching. All Might. All Might has arrived to the scene, seeing what Izuku has just done. It's impressive, beyond impressive. Izuku being at a point where, there's really no one else that could possibly have done this well. I mean, seriously, how was he able to do that? What kind of quirk does he have? In which All Might would obviously ask him, and Izuku would say, he doesn't have one. He's quirkless, and he has full determination to be a quirkless #1 hero. All Might would be shocked. Quirkless? Quirkless, and he did this? No. How? What does this mean? How did he do it? How is this possible? Izuku says that he's trained since the age of 5. He's trained day in and day out. His sensei, he's told him to never give up, and he'll never let down his sensei. He'll never let him down, and there's no excuses. There is nothing to be held back. He will be the number one hero. And that is a promise. Is a absolute promise. Izuku would stand tall on this as they would gather the sludge villain and put him in bottles. All Might would say that the kid is impressive. Beyond impressive. And he believes that they'll be talking sooner rather than later. Because they might have an interesting conversation that they'll definitely have to speak about. And before he jumps away, Izuku would ask. He knows he's quirkless. But do you think he can truly become a hero? In which All Might looks at him and smiles. And he says, according to him, he can be the number one hero, right? All Might would jump off as Izuku would realize that that was minor confirmation from the number one hero, All Might, that there should be confidence in what he's doing, confidence in what he is partaking in. Izuku has truly awakened something different, something special. No one else has done this. This is truly the power of the 8 gates, and he's not even halfway through them. Not even close. All he can think about is training. All he can think about is fighting and getting better, getting stronger. And that's what he does. Racing off to Might Guy once again, starting his path of 10 months of training before the UA Sports Festival. 10 freaking months. Training with the Gate of Life, eventually leading to the Gate of Pain and learning of many other things. Gaining many usages of the 8 gates. Now, he would only, and for the most part, get to about Gate 5, the Gate of Limit, which is kind of like this gate that seemingly increases your strength after completing the reverse lotus. But there is some very major things that are wrong with this part, because let's just say the first time Izuku uses it, he gets compound fractures and it gets really bad. So it does put him at a state of needing to be healed and proper medical attention for a while. And my guy basically tells him that what he should do is stick to around the 3rd gate. Gate 3, if he needs to, push it up to the Gate of Pain, but stick to around the 3rd gate. And basically what we want to do is get him to the Gate of Wonder. The Gate of Wonder is a lot more, you could say, manageable. And not manageable in terms of easy, but manageable in terms of, well, let's not give you compound fractures. And there's a lot of work to be done, but for starters, he has a very good grasp on the 3rd gate, and he should stick to that. And it should give him plenty of strength, plenty of power to proceed how he wants to proceed, in which Izuku agrees. The Gate of Life should be enough, and he can use any of the other techniques, like the front lotus or the reverse lotus and stuff like that, if need be in the near future. But for now, the 10 months would be exceeded, 10 months would be granted and over, and it would be time for Izuku Midoriya to take on the UA entrance exam. The UA entrance exam would all start very simply. He would walk up and he would see the big school, this big area that seems to be for testing, excited, but also worried for the written portion of this exam. He's studied quite a bit, but still, anything could truly happen in this type of scenario. And frankly enough, Izuku's nervous and, very nervous nature causes him to fall. But this would eventually lead him to getting caught or kind of used a quirk use a quirk on, and this was Ochako saving him from face planting on the cement. He would awkwardly, talk to her and stuff like that, but it would be pretty obvious that he doesn't know how to talk to girls very much, and that Might Guy is kind of his only inspiration of it, and it kind of leads to a very awkward moment between him and Ochako. But, of course, This would eventually lead him to the written portion of the exam and then the practical, in which the practical, once those gates would swing open, he would go sprinting out, awakening and opening the first, second, and third gate, leading him to destroying robots like it's nobody's business. And there's somebody watching as he destroys robots after robots after robots. Not only are the teachers of UA, but also All Might himself, wondering how the kid got so powerful even without a quirk. The sensei that he has, the one he speaks of, must be very, very, very good, because when he watches Izuku would have a choice, because a giant robot is about to step on the same girl that saved him from face planting on the cement, and he watches him do something that nobody could possibly expect. To him, or to Izuku, he decides to risk it all. Just like Might Guy said, he always does everything to the maximum. Opening the gate of wonder, something he has barely prepared on at all. And he begins to show off this blue-like aura, this blue sweat that secretes from his body. And immediately, in one punch, he would send a compressed air kind of shot in a single kind of pocket of compressed air straight toward the giant robot, obliterating it, forcing it backwards, and it crashes into buildings. And Izuku stands there, proud, happy, wondering how he was able to do such an amazing thing, that the power he has, it's so great, that he truly has worked hard for it, but he's truly been blessed by the best sensei ever. And he goes to help out Ochako, picking her up, and, well, as he does do this, she puts his arm, or her arm, around his back, and he feels immense pain, as if all these muscles, if anybody touches him, just anything, it hurts extremely badly. But he tries to hide it, moving her to Recovery Girl, putting her down, and waving her goodbye very quickly and running off. And, well, All Might is currently watching, wondering, truly wondering what kind of power this kid has, but also realizing that every single thing that he thought about, every single thing he was thinking, well, Izuku Midoriya might be that person. He might be prepared, he might be ready, and he might be the one to succeed All Might, the one to succeed himself, the one to gain the powers of One for All. Izuku Midoriya should be the next successor to All Might. And that's what truly All Might thinks, and Aizawa can see it in the face of All Might, that he's made a decision that many people would be very, very disgruntled about, at least if they truly knew what was going on. Aizawa would look around and wonder what this kid is truly all about, looking into his paperwork and seeing that he's quirkless, wondering, how did All Might know? You could tell by his face, tell by his expressions, that it wasn't surprise. Not necessarily. He knew the kid. He knew that he was quirkless. He knew that he was quirkless but powerful. How the hell did he know? Aizawa sits there thinking very, 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 very seriously, but as All Might has seemingly chosen his successor, but will Izuku really accept One for All, or will he not, and guide his powers in a different direction and decide to continue on the path of mastering the 8 gates? Well, you're gonna have to find out in part 2 of What If Deku Was Trained by Might Guy, excuse me, my guy. Yeah, no, Might Guy is my guy as well. He's a great dude. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Do you want Izuku to get One for All? Do you want him to not get One for All? I mean, either way, I don't mind. I know a lot. Trust me, I hear it all the time. I'll never be able to please everybody, so I sincerely apologize. But I do hear sometimes where people are like, "Why didn't you give him One for All? Like, it didn't make sense. You should have gave it to him. And I know others are like, hey, can you not give him one for all when he has already a quirk, because I don't want to see that, blah, blah, blah. Leave in the comment section below if you want him to get one for all. Leave it in the comment section below if you don't want him to get one for all. And if you want to give an explanation on why or why not, feel free. But I will look at the comments, and if there's an overwhelming to one side or the other, I will choose that way. And if it's like split in between or split in the middle, I'll probably just choose whatever I want, to be honest with you. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, if you did, please leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.